The libertarians espouse, and in particular in my medical practice, I have become a real staunch advocate for medical marijuana, and I'll come back to that in just a little bit. But that's kind of what really piqued my interest in running for state offices. About in a few minutes. State Medical Association, go to the state legislature for relief for patients in suffering. And one of those things, of the members to vote for this, it wasn't enough for the executive board to say, well, we'll back you on this. So I went ahead and did it on my own. I went to the Indiana State Medical Association on my own with a resolution for medical marijuana that they take to the state legislature. And the reason I did this was because I've had several dialogues and I've written a lot of letters to the editor, op-ed pieces for local and regional newspapers on this issue. And I went to the Indiana State Legislature's House Majority Leader, a guy named Mark Cruzan. I said, you know, here's my idea, and I think that we can better serve our patients if we treat them with dignity and respect and help them relieve their pain and suffering, and instead of prosecuting and incarcerating medical marijuana users, let's treat this as a public health issue. So safe, it's a Schedule III drug like Tylenol with codeine. And it's even considered safe to use in pregnancy, so that argues for the safety factor of tetrahydrocannabinol, one of the active ingredients in marijuana. And like I said, everybody that's looked at it has said that it has medical utility, it has safety in medical applications, and should be available, but the DEA and FDA continue to prohibit it.
Half of those people are in there for drug offenses, which is absurd. We're paying a lot to take those dangerous criminals off the streets who are sharing marijuana with their friends, you know, dangerous types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to interject. Stop for a pause for a minute.
Cocaine and things of this nature. You're kind of embarrassed to admit to your crowd. Mumble under your breath. What are you in here for? Well, I brought a boatload over. How about you? 50 kilos. Me, 4 hours for a run. What? I mumble it. I told it was a long story. McConnell.
The memoirs of the soldiers who
I can't think of anything funny from the Civil War.
Well, I was not in the Civil War, but not quite. But when I was in for 2 years, during peacetime, I found it a hilarious experience. I mean, there were things that happened all the time that were funny. Somebody would mess up, you know, make a mistake when you're marching or trying to clean up the barracks or something, and you don't laugh, of course, when you're in formation. But
so you're a regular foot soldier.
I was a foot soldier.
You weren't working as a press corps.
No. I was, well, actually, once I got to Germany, I had a desk job, but a job. So he came to Louisville to live with his sister, who was married to a man named Blue, who was a librarian of one of the black branches of the library in the early 30s. And he stayed here and got a job.
The library had black branches?
Mm-hmm. The western branch was the main black branch. Blacks could not use the main library downtown.
You're kidding?
No.
You're in Louisville?
Here in Louisville, Kentucky. And so anyway, he finally got a job at Central High School when it was a segregated school, an all-black school. And he remained there for the rest of his career and became a leader in civil rights for blacks in Kentucky. But he knew all the black icons of the 20th century, including Martin Luther King.
Really?
And this one is...
Basically, I must say it was one of the most shocking experiences I've ever had, and I've had some shocking experiences. But writing and researching Drug Crazy profoundly changed my thinking about the whole drug problem and how we got into this mess and how we can get out. It was amazing to me to discover that 100% of the scientific evidence, the logic, is all on one side of the argument, and that there is absolutely no scientific, political, or moral evidence that weighs in on behalf of drug prohibition. Interestingly, one of the most amazing things that I discovered when I was digging into this problem was we did not have a drug problem in the United States until we created this ourselves.
Hobby, you know. Well, you take your hobby seriously. It's good to see somebody with a passion. Very defeatist.
Well, here we are at the Smokers Ball here in Amsterdam, and we're privileged to have with us this evening a statesman of renown, a writer, a investigator, a researcher, Arno Adelaars.
It means eagle in Dutch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Arno Eagle.
Arnold Eagle, Adelaar. And Arnold has written several books, one having to do with magic mushrooms. Is that right, Arnold?
And ecstasy.
Ecstasy?
And right now I'm working, well, I also already published something on ayahuasca, but there will be a book now on ayahuasca.
And can you tell us what ayahuasca is for people that don't have any idea?
Well, so ayahuasca is the, you might say, the preferred or the favorite psychedelic of the Amazon Indians. So almost all the Amazon Indian tribes use ayahuasca as a sacrament, as a holy or a sacred brew.
Is this like for hundreds of years?
Thousands
of years.
of years, yes.
Is it a root, or is it a mushroom, or what is how do you spell ayahuasca?
Well, so I have this. Somebody gave me this fantastic T-shirt, and this is how you spell it. It's in the Quechua language. It's an Indian tribe from Peru, and actually this is a slice. This is a slice of a vine. You can see a flower-like pattern in it, and this is one part of the brew because it's a combination of two different plants. So it's the vine. What this vine does, pharmacologically speaking, is that it stops one enzyme in your gut.
Stops an enzyme in your bowel.
Yeah, and it's called the MAO enzyme, monoamine oxidase enzyme. It stops this enzyme. What this enzyme normally does, it breaks down DMT, dimethyltryptamine. Right. And dimethyltryptamine containing leaves is the other ingredient in ayahuasca. So this vine facilitates the DMT to cross the blood-brain barrier and it comes into your brain. And then you get the effects.
What are the effects?
Well, the effects are unpredictable. It is possible you will drink something and you won't notice too much. It's not like you take mushrooms and within 15 minutes you know where you're at. But it can be like that.
So it's a psychedelic.
It's absolutely psychedelic. It can bring you to your innermost essence.
In touch with yourself,
But if you're not concentrated enough, or if it's not working very well in the beginning, you won't notice too much. But this is only for beginners. As soon as you drink it more often, say more than 5 or 8 times, you will always feel the effects. So I'm a relatively experienced drinker, so I will notice the effects maybe in 5 or 10 minutes.
And how long does it last?
It depends on how many glasses you drink, but you might say that one glass lasts for about 3-4 hours.
Is there any negative side effects?
Well, so because the vine is containing this MAO inhibitor, of this enzyme, there are some contraindications, you might say. So a couple of hours before you start drinking the brew, or when you have, there is absolutely less violence, man. You know, there are not that many guns.
Oh, really?
There are not that many guns here.
You mean,
No, guns are not allowed here.
don't people feel deprived not having their guns?
No, they're really happy. Like,
They're happy not having a gun? Are you
Yes.
happy without a gun?
Why would I need a gun?
I thought everybody had to have a gun.
No, not over here.
so, you know, when we go out to clubs, we are happy. People are searching us and searching other people for guns.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. No, this is a gun, almost a gun-free society. So we have much